Just because someone is a martial artist, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be a fighter. And here's why. Fighters train to fight. If you're a fighter, you're different from a martial artist in the sense that your job is to fight and your goal is to win. To me, that exemplifies the difference, the clear difference between a fighter and a martial artist. The martial artist will train 10,000 punches, obviously more than once, but they'll be looking to master many different techniques. Whilst the fighter, who is concerned with victory and winning, is going to study 1, 2, 3 techniques for years. Hello guys, Carlos Moreno here again from Moreno Boxing TV. Time to box the difference between a fighter and a martial artist. So should I say a martial artist and a fighter? There's a clear difference between the two, and I'm sure most of you will know what the difference is, but I just wanted to expand on that a little bit. So what is a martial artist? A martial artist, from my understanding, being in boxing and martial arts for over 11, 12 years now, a martial artist, to me, and from what I understand from studying martial arts and studying fighting, is someone who practices the art of fighting, the art of warfare, the art of military, the martial art, the art of combat, psychological combat, physical combat, spiritual combat. One doesn't necessarily need to know physical martial arts in order to be a martial artist. You don't necessarily need to be skilled in the physical combat, in my opinion. In my opinion, a martial artist is someone who also understands psychology and strategy. You could be a general in a war, and you could be tasked with commanding an army. You're not necessarily going to get involved fighting one-to-one combat against soldiers from the other army, but you are in charge of commanding your own army. What you're doing is military science. It's military governance, which is a form of martial arts. The only difference is it's on a grand scale. So you have martial arts on a grand scale and you have martial arts on a small scale, one-to-one combat. But what's interesting is that the principles of martial arts remain the same. Attack and defense with strategy, attacking with discipline, attacking with intelligence. Same thing as defending with discipline, defending with purpose, defending absolutely with technique. So the principles still remain the same. What can change is the techniques used and the way that they are implemented. So a martial artist is someone who studies military science, is someone who studies the martial arts. For example, someone could be in karate and they could be studying many different techniques that karate may teach, or a particular style of karate may teach. A boxer may do the same thing. Just because someone is a martial artist, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be a fighter. And here's why. Fighters train to fight. If you're a fighter, you're different from a martial artist in the sense that your job is to fight and your goal is to win. Whilst a martial artist, his job is to learn the arts, to carry on the arts. A lot of people pass on their family tradition or a particular style of fighting. As a martial artist, your job is to study the arts in its completeness. So you're trying to learn as many techniques of a particular style of fighting as possible. Same goes to strategy, same goes to technique. You're trying to learn as much of that particular style as possible. You're trying to master that style. So hence you are the martial artist. A fighter, on the other hand, is someone who fights to win. So a fighter shouldn't necessarily concern himself with trying to learn too many different styles, with trying to learn too many different techniques. A fighter should only concern himself with techniques that are going to be useful in combat. A fighter wants to learn techniques that are going to win, that are going to achieve victory. There's a saying, I fear not the man that has practiced 10,000 punches once. I fear the man who has practiced one punch 10,000 times or 1,000 times. To me, that exemplifies the difference, the clear difference between a fighter and a martial artist. The martial artist will train 10,000 punches, obviously more than once, but they'll be looking to master many different techniques. Whilst the fighter, who is concerned with victory and winning, is going to study 1, 2, 3 techniques for years, because they're going to look for what's more effective. They're going to look for what works for them and helps them achieve victory. So you need to decide. I recommend that everybody decide through their journey in martial arts who or what they truly are. Are you a fighter? Do you wish to compete? If so, you need to have the right mindset and the right attitude, and you need to learn the right stuff in order to win. Are you a martial artist? Are you someone who just loves the art of fighting, who loves military science, and you're looking to learn stratagem, you're looking to learn techniques, and you're looking to study a wide variety of different ways of achieving victory? Oh, not even achieving victory, just different ways of expressing yourself in the martial arts. Having a clear view of whether you are a martial artist or whether you are a fighter is going to do wonder for your frame of mind. The way that you approach martial arts, the way that you approach fighting, is going to help you to see a path, to see a clear path ahead of you for what you want to achieve out of your practice. You have a much clearer insight into the world of martial arts, into the world of fighting, and your practice will become more purposeful as well. There's a third thing that I want to bring up here. So having discussed martial artists and fighters, there is a third category which I like to identify as the prize fighter. The prize fighter is not someone who is concerned with learning the entirety of martial arts or particularly mastering their art. The prize fighter is not necessarily interested in just fighting and winning. They're not entirely concerned with victory. The prize fighter fights for a prize, and there have been prize fighters in the past, or even present circumstances nowadays, where they go into the ring or they go into the octagon or wherever it is, and they fight to win or lose. They fight for what they're getting paid for. For example, there are a lot of fighters in the boxing world called journeymen, and these journeymen, what they do is they take up fights against opponents who are much more highly skilled than they are, knowing that they're going to lose. Most of it is driven by money and by wanting to gain a prize. They don't necessarily want to achieve victory. And there are circumstances where a lot of the prize fighters who are journeymen and losing are actually making more money than a lot of fighters who are not journeymen, who are what we call prospects, who are actually succeeding, winning titles and not making as much money. Obviously, not to say that fighters who are winning titles are making less money than journeymen, not to say that at all. So as a prize fighter, your main concern is financial reward or any other sort of reward that you're looking for. Some fight for the thrill of it, some fight just because they want to, some want the money, some want the glory, the respect, but they want something. The fighter fights for victory, that's it, simply wants to win or just wants to improve the skill. They're not concerned with a prize or a reward as such. Their reward is the victory. Their reward is improvement of skill. Whilst there are many martial artists who study martial arts for years and have never had a real fight in their life. They've never been in a boxing ring. They've never been in an octagon. They've never competed. But these are martial artists. They are legit martial artists. This is not to say that if you're a martial artist that you're not going to be good at fighting. That's not necessarily true. Plenty of martial artists will hold their own in the ring, would hold their own in the octagon. We can think of many actor martial artists such as Bruce Lee, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Michael Jai White, who's one of my favorites as well, who I believe would handle themselves against a lot of fighters. Would they win? I don't know. But I reckon they would know what they were doing and they wouldn't be out of place, if you know what I mean. I think Bruce Lee definitely would beat a lot of MMA fighters, possibly, even though he was an actor. I think he had the physical capabilities, he had the attributes, the speed, the power, the strength, and the psychological understanding. He was very, very smart. So against a lot of people his way, I really believe Bruce Lee would do really well in an MMA fight in the UFC. Also, if he trained and refined his skill with regards to grappling, etc., he would do even better if he modernized his techniques, which I believe he would if he was alive. But guys, those are the differences, in my opinion, between a fighter, a martial artist, and a prize fighter. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like this video, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to share this video as well. And please just put your comments down in the link section. This was just a quick freestyle video, and I want to know what your thoughts are. Peace out. Boxeo.